Hey you, I'm Sarah Turner, and let's dig into the psychology behind copywriting, shall we? It's honestly one of my favorite things about copywriting is to learn more about humans and behaviors and why we do things the way we do them. I just love it, and it's an endless thing that you can study. So it's never gonna get old. There's always new things you can learn. There's also always new discoveries. So, the first thing I want to kind of touch on is four things that will make you a better copywriter. So, the first thing is to study how the brain works. Study some neuroscience and some psychology. It is going to make you a far better copywriter, and it is super interesting. The second thing is really get to know your audience. Getting to know your audience, understanding them, why they feel the way they feel, why they act the way they act, why they think the way they think. That is going to make you an insanely better copywriter. So really get to know your audience. The third thing is to know that people make emotional decisions and purchases. And we're going to dig a little bit more into that. And then the fourth thing is to always use your power for good. Words are so powerful. I know you've seen this in action. Sometimes it's like with speeches or things people say can get people all fired up, and it's something that you should keep in mind when you're a copywriter is that it is a really powerful tool. And so to always use your copywriting skills and skill sets for good. Please don't spread fear unnecessarily. It is like my biggest pet peeve. I can't tell you. We need so much less of that in this world. I think we can all agree on that right now. So first, let's kind of talk a little bit about the brain. And I think that's going to this is some of the information that really helped me become a better copywriter. And this was some of the first information I kind of learned about psychology. So we want to talk about two different parts of the brain that are important when it comes to copywriting, and that is the limbic system and the neocortex. So the limbic system is a much older part of your brain, and it seeks pleasure over pain. It also keeps emotionally charged memories. Have you ever noticed how you tend to remember things from when you were younger that have a strong emotion attached to it? It's because the limbic system keeps track of those memories because they're so emotionally charged. It thinks, wow, this must be important. It's kind of a survival mechanism. So the other thing is the limbic system is a primary source of emotion and behavior. So that is one of the parts of the brain that is read about it, study it. It's super interesting, but it's very important to understand that it's important in copywriting. So when you're writing your copy, how do you appeal to the limbic system? You use emotions and things that evoke emotions. You use empathy and specific lingo. You show them what they'll kind of experience or the transformation they'll have using your product or service. You demonstrate value. Just think about, it's mostly touching on the emotions. And then you have the neocortex, and this is the part of the brain that makes us different from other animals. It's what gives us, the ability to speak and to have language. It's the basis of cognition and sensory perception. And it's a younger part of the brain. It was only recently developed. The limbic system is much older. So when you're writing your copy, how can you appeal to the neocortex? That's where you use statistics and testimonials, strong proof, reasoning, a call to action. All of that speaks to the more sophisticated neocortex. But here's the thing. So most people think, and I used to be one of those people, that we make decisions based on facts and figures and reasonable thought processes, and we think of ourselves as rational beings who make rational decisions, but we actually make emotional decisions. And this is the key part that we really need to understand as a copywriter. People make emotional decisions, but then look for facts and figures and statistics to justify making the emotional decision. So we like to think that we'll make a decision based in sound evidence with numbers backing it, but the reality is we make the decision based on what feels good or feels right, and then we justify it. So the rational brain is justifying it. And that's so important to understand, because so often when I see newbie copywriters starting out, what they do is they focus on the neocortex. They load it up with testimonials and numbers and things like that. And they talk about the features of a product, But really you want to talk about, that's why you want to talk about the benefits, is because you want to talk about what it's going to do for their life. What emotions is it going to evoke? So this is like one of the most fundamental pieces of psychology that's important in understanding as a copywriter. And so I wanted to share that with you. This is, again, something that could be studied for a really long time, forever, really, and you can always dig deeper. So that's just a little bit of the, basis of psychology and copywriting. So I want to add last little bit is like one of the things. So direct response copy is the kind of copy that gets people to act now. And it's truly like the purest form of copywriting, right? Because that is really the goal. But in today's world, with all the like social media platforms and things like that, we have like kind of gotten softer, and there is a lot of copy and advertising that isn't direct response. So that's why it's just important to differentiate the two. But direct response is like the classic type of true copywriting. So one of the like basic copywriting direct response formulas is to present a problem, to agitate the person by coming up with all these things that makes them like fearful and angry and upset, and then present the solution. And the solution is usually your product or service. But I want to suggest an alternative, a conscious spin on it, if you will. Because again, as I mentioned before, it's just really not necessary, I think, to constantly be spreading fear. You can make fantastic sales by empathizing with the person. So my method for direct response copy, instead of present the problem, agitate, present the solution, my method is to present the problem, to empathize with them so they know that you're on the same team and you're coming from the same place, and then present the solution. I think that is a much more humane way, and it is extremely effective, let me tell you, to work and present direct response copy. So that's just some of the basics. If you like that, hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, I love to hear what you think in the comments. So share with me. Thanks, guys.